What's going on, traders? Sandra O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is May 25th, 2021. Please go ahead and click the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today, we are going to talk about the price action in the indices. We had a bit of a divergence between a lot of these different areas of the market. We will talk about the sectors and style factors. We'll talk about some of the trades that I put on today. And last but certainly not least, we will go through some options order flow. Before I jump into all that, quick risk disclaimer, nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan and your own risk parameters. And last but certainly not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. All right, let's jump in here and let's take a look. So what did we have today? Today I think could have been a very confusing day of price action, depending on the frame of reference you're coming from. We had the S&P 500 as measured by the SPY finish down 0.22%. We had the NASDAQ QQQ finish up 0.14%. We had the IWM small caps finish up 0.97%. And we had the Dow Jones close down 0.23%. So it appears that we are, this is the XLF. Wasn't meaning to look at that. I want to look at the S&P 500. So it appears that we are entering into more of a normal market again. And by normal, what I mean is growth stocks leading value. Over the past 3 months, it's been like a roller coaster where all these growth stocks had really run throughout 2020. And then really this year, there was a huge correction. A lot of these stocks were down 30%, 50%, some even more than that. Meanwhile, the value stocks were really just ripping in the background. So it was this constant, struggle where it was like, if you were in some of those growth names, your portfolio was pretty much like treading water or even going down. Whereas, you would look at the headline indices and be like, wow, the market's doing just fine. My portfolio's down. Now we're in sort of like back to normal mode. Somebody actually commented on one of my tweets the other day and they were like, investing is easy again, which I find really funny because, yeah, you can pick, some of these growth names and a lot of them are really just moving to the upside. So today, the S&P 500, we had a really nice run. We bounced off of this 50-day simple moving average. And then we had 3 really nice bullish days of price action consecutively. Today, we tried to make, another swing high here. We did intraday. We made a high compared to yesterday's close. And then we faded throughout the session. And you can see here, we did not close directly on the lows. We closed down only, looking at these ES futures, only down 0.16%. We're back in value. But I don't think this is the end of the world. We had some really bullish days of price action. We got pretty extended from those short-term moving averages. Like you can see right now, we didn't even test the 5-day exponential moving average. So we could still correct down to about this 41.69 level. And that wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, the trend just broke. That would really just be like, okay, we had a really quick run. So this is really just, retesting a little bit and doing some back and filling. So I don't think it would be bad at all if we even had a couple more of these days where we just kind of move sideways. We explore some higher levels and explore some lower levels. So yeah, I think this is pretty much par for the course at this point. Looking at our hourly chart really quick, you can see we retested this weekly value area high. And again, just testing value, not that big of a deal. That is A-okay. Let's jump over to the NASDAQ. And that's the thing, the NASDAQ was actually positive today. So that's another reason why, it's not like this is the end of the world. We had NASDAQ repping higher. So you can see here, we tested this monthly value area low. And we ended up closing with a doji candle. So again, not the worst thing in the world. Look at how far extended the NASDAQ is from these key moving averages. We could have a little pullback from here. That would be completely normal. Or, better yet, we could have just a sideways consolidation and have some of these short-term moving averages catch up to price. Now, on the other hand, we had the Russell, which this one doesn't look as good. I actually entered into a short position on the Russell today. Closed down 0.83%. And what I noticed during the past couple of days of really bullish price action, the Russell seemed like it was always one step behind the other indices. Now you can see today, the Russell actually broke below this value area low. So really like pretty feeble bounce here, not really all that much. And then today you can see we tried to break above this monthly point of control. We pretty much had an epic failure, almost closed on the lows of the day. So yeah, the small caps really were in trouble, and these kept making new lows throughout the session. So you can see it looks like we got a little bit of a bounce in the after hours. We tagged this 200 period simple moving average. We'll have to see tomorrow if we get some follow through and if we actually go down to this weekly value area low here. And then if we pull up the Dow Jones, you can see the Dow Jones closed down about 0.5%. Dow Jones still looks solid, really just a day of sideways consolidation at this point. All right, so let's go in a little bit deeper. Let's take a look at our market breadth. And you can see we had negative breadth in all of the indices aside from the NASDAQ. So you can see NASDAQ was slightly positive. Breadth was by far the worst in the Russell. Looking at our heat map, you'll see very similar. Financials took a bit of a hit today. We had healthcare, which was weak. We also had energy, which is very weak. Industrials, utilities, materials. So really what this looks like to me is a bit of an unwind of that reflation and cyclicals trade. And you'll see what I mean when we take a look at our sectors and style factors. So looking at these, you can see the regional banks down over 2%, down 2.28%. We had energy down over 2%. We had the financials down. Really over the past couple of months, these areas of the market have been the stars. These have been really strong. And then you can see, what else do we have here? Let's see what performed well. We had this emerging markets, internet and e-commerce, up 1.18%. We had our best performer here was KWeb, the Chinese internet names. And I called this out earlier for members. I even posted this on Twitter as well, that this Shanghai composite was really strong overnight. And so you can see that strength translated over into these Chinese internet names. Another area of the market that did pretty well was the YOLO ETF, which is the cannabis ETF. Yeah, pretty much all the green areas of the market were more so associated with growth, with momentum, and then all of these cyclical and value areas of the market really got hit. Looking at our style factors, you'll see that very clearly here. Momentum style factor up 0.17% today. And then international momentum, which makes sense given the strength in the Chinese names, up 0.51%. But then very weak, the cyclicals down 1.38%. And you can see this high div, low vol down 1.32%. So let's take a look. We'll pull up some of my trades for the day. And looks like I'm getting a call from an unknown number. So coming into today, I did have a full deck of risk on. So I wasn't really in the mindset of like, okay, I'm going to come in and add a bunch of trades off the open. I ended up taking some targets off the open because we did have, some nice strength. You can see here at 942, I had closed out half of a Roku call spread for $5. I had paid $4.45 for that. And I just said here, wanted to take something off for prudence into this strength. At the time I was like, I think Roku could go even further, but I just have to take off, at least some trades into this strength. Roku ended up getting a little bit weaker throughout the day. Let's see what Roku did. Yeah, Roku actually closed down 0.44%, actually closed below value. So yeah, I'm glad I took a target and closed out half of that position. Then I also closed out my NVIDIA. I had a call spread on for May 28th, which is this Friday. I had this 600 by 610 call spread. I took that off for 692. I had paid 461 for that. And I saw they had their earnings coming up, and really just for the sake of taking a target. The last thing that you want is, to be in a ton of short-term options. The market turns or changes a little bit, and then all of a sudden you have all these, call spreads, call options that were really working for you, and then all of a sudden it's like, one down day in the markets, and it's like, oh gosh, like all these winners just turn into losers. So that's why I was like, I'll trim this. I think, there's a high degree of likelihood that NVIDIA closes well above that 610 by Friday. But just in case, you never know. Maybe they miss on their earnings and this thing just drops, down. You really never know. So yeah, I took that one off for a nice winner. At 10:52, I saw there was a headline that Coinbase was going to be introducing a new service. I believe it was like a Coinbase beta. What was it? But this headline really caught my eye, and I've been following the crypto space a lot more closely. Yeah, they introduced a beta version of Coinbase Prime. And so I added a 232.5 by 240 June 18th call spread. I just noted here, small trade for me. I didn't want to put on too much risk. Put that on for a 355. And Coinbase, let's see what that one did into the close. Yeah, Coinbase blew right through my upper strike. So as of now, when I put this on, we were trading just under my lower strike. We pretty much blew right through it. So yeah, my call spread is fully in the money on day one. That is always the best feeling when that happens, when you throw the call spread on and then just right through it. That's the best. So yeah, we'll see if it holds. But I think within the crypto space, this name has been super beaten up. Really all the cryptos have, and now they're finally starting to stabilize a bit. And then into the close here. So at 304, I got long some IWM June 18th 220 strike puts for 561. And I jotted this one down as a day trade. I ended up taking this one into the close just because IWM, in my opinion, did close pretty weak. So I was like, I want to take these overnight. Because when this sort of thing happens, or look at this close for IWM, this to me is telling, me that there's likely some institutions that got into this inflation trade very late. And we had been talking about this for, weeks and weeks and weeks, where like everyone is on the same side of it. Now that trade is kind of coming undone, where we see all these growth names moving higher, there's definitely some bag holders that are caught in this thing. And that's sort of when I put on those puts, that was me like smelling the blood in the water. And I was like, we're breaking levels to the downside. Like there's definitely some trapped longs in the small caps. So we'll see if we get some more follow through to the downside here. But yeah, added those at about 302. And then I did do some stock trades as well. I closed out, this was at 9.53. I closed out my overstock for $80.79. I had paid $81.64. This was a position I added on yesterday. I don't really consider it a core position. And so I was like, if I'm going to take some things off the board, I'll take this overstock off first. So yes, took this one off at 80 and change, closed at 78.53. I think it still looks pretty good, but yeah, in the morning I was like, I just want to take some trades off. And then I added some Curaleaf. And Curaleaf, I added that for $14.77. This is a cannabis name. It's the largest licensed producer in the United States. And this name, playing it for the breakout. You can see here, I said, if this thing, if it's a failed breakout and it closes back within value, I don't want to hold it. I'll stop out. You can see here it held above value into the close. So I think if some of these cannabis names start to move, this name will definitely move with them. So I just wanted to get, positioned in this name just in case. So that about does it for my trades for today. Let's take a quick look at our options flow from today. And you can see here, We had some call options go up on the open. Looks like some FOMO call buyers, pretty much buying in on the highs of the day down here. And then once the price action started to slip a little bit, then you can see a bunch of IWM put buyers coming in. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, they came in at 944. So whoever bought these, this was really good timing for those puts. Let's see, AVGO. I believe this is a semiconductor's name. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this one looks kind of interesting. Yeah, technology, semiconductors. Yeah, they bought puts on it. And then you can see here some calls for the Qs going up. Ford, which is a name that I have on. AMD. This was a name I thought was pretty interesting. So this KGC, this is a gold miner. They bought this 10 strike call for January 2022. Gold miners have been very strong. Oh, yeah. You can see this one, putting in a nice flag. Most of these gold names, the gold miners, the chart looks pretty much identical. Yeah, you can see this. They bought the 10 strike, which would be, all the way up here. So very interesting. I'll probably be watching this one in the days to come. And then we have some IPOE call buyers that came in towards the close. I've been seeing call buyers in this thing for, weeks and weeks and weeks. This to me doesn't look like a good time to buy calls when this thing's been up, like 6 out of the last 7 trading days. But who knows? Maybe they have, a more grand target for this name. With that being said, that about does it for our options order flow, and that about does it for this market recap video. Hope you all had an awesome trading day, and I will see you all tomorrow.